Hey everybody, it's Fluffy the Commie here, and the NDA for the Media Tour just dropped for all the content creators that got to go. So I decided that I would go over my thoughts for at least the Melee, the information that they had for that. Um, I guess my initial opinions for a lot of the Melee, I kind of felt like they dumbed some of the Melee down, or if not dumbed them down, I feel like Ninja's still pretty up there for min-maxy stuff and optimizing and whatever. But I don't really, I didn't like every change, but let's go ahead and get in. So I'm over here using Happy's video. I feel like he went the most in-depth with all the jobs overall compared to the other channels. Zeno definitely did a great overview of tanks, but I haven't, not only have I not watched that, but I'm not going over the tanks. I don't really play a tank, but I do play Melee. So I thought I'd give my thoughts on all of them. So let's go ahead and, this is Ninja. Obviously this is Happy's video. If you want to go ahead and give him a like, go ahead. I'll leave the link of the video in the description. So let's go ahead and get into this.
Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here. In this video we are going to be going
just
over
skip a little bit through the intro.
Somewhere on the video or things like that. We have Spitting Edge, Gust Slash, Aeolian Edge, Armor Crush, Shade Shift, Hide, Throwing Dagger.
Alright, so all these skills got changed, but we'll go ahead and just skip through this. I guess there's something I did want to point out here. Let me see if I can find it. Here, the remove skills. So there's nothing wrong with Shadewalker and Smokescreen being removed, because obviously aggro is kind of a joke now. Nobody's really going to care for those. It's going to be so optional, even if they were here. You have Jugulate removed, which kind of, thank God, it wasn't, what, a 80 potency skill? It wasn't really doing much. It's just kind of a button you pressed. Didn't really care for it. Duality's gone, but now we have Boonshin, which is great. But we'll talk about Boonshin later, because there was something I didn't expect from Boonshin, but Boonshin's still a good skill regardless. So we'll go over that. There's some cool stuff with that. Dripping Blades is gone, this is huge, right? The reason why I say Dripping Blades is gone, because why this is huge is because Dripping Blades is a 20% on all physical skills, meaning this is a direct nerf to Fuma Shuriken. And what that means is you have to use Raiton. Now, you can't just, even with Raiton clipping, you're going to have to use it. You can't just use Fuma anymore, which, depending on who you are, you might think that sucks. I kind of think that sucks, but I mean, unless you have some really good ping, you're going to be using Raiton and you're going to be clipping regardless of whatever happens. So Fuma's effectively removed from the game. The Dex traits are gone. This is not the only job I saw. I believe Machinist lost its Dex traits too. So, yeah, I don't know. Keep all this in mind, because while Ninja might seem crazy at first, it definitely won't be doing as much damage as you think it might be doing. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue the video.
Blades traits and the enhanced dexterity traits. And Shadow Fang is back to comboing directly.
Yeah, so Shadow Fang is a two-parter combo now. So is Armor Crush, so that's good.
Mug had its Ninki generation increase from 30 to
Mug is Mug.
the trait that you eventually get. For low health enemies.
Assassinate. So this is really good, because a lot of people thought that Assassinate was going to be tied to Suiton instead of, what is it? Instead of Dream Within a Dream. But Dream Within a Dream actually gives you this Assassinate ready buff, which I think is actually thematically perfect, because, when you look at Dream Within a Dream's animation, it tosses you up in the air, and then you come back down with Assassinate, and that's really cool. And then obviously Assassinate had its potency buffed. You'll most likely be doing this in Trick, so that's good. Why it has a 1-second recast doesn't really matter, but it's probably just there to be there. So that's cool. There's more interaction with Trick. But as we continue, we'll kind of see, I guess when we get to my final thoughts, why I think this might be a little bit problematic just with the job as a whole. But let's go ahead and continue.
Instead, it can only be used when the ninja is Assassinate ready skill, which, while it still does the triple hit that it was doing.
So yeah, that's the Assassinate ready from Dream Within a Dream. Still 60 seconds, so you will be using this in Trick. Trick! So all the people who were screaming, nerf Trick, it's gotta go, Trick is just awful, or it's gonna get nerfed. Trick got buffed. It's actually 500 potency now. It's not 400, but you could say this accounts for a lot of things. Like, still, like I said, Dripping Blades is gone, the Dex is gone, so it's probably still gonna be doing the same amount of damage it did before. I mean, Dripping Blades wasn't 100 potency, but this is making up for something. So it's not effectively a buff, but it is a buff. So keep your eyes out for that. Trick is still strong. I don't know. I thought when they said in the live letter that they were going to be squishing utility down to where, or at least they said they would be squishing synergy down to the point where most people would be relying on Dancer more than anything for their buffs. But Trick is virtually unchanged here, right? So that, I don't know. That doesn't really make sense to me. But when you look at Dragoon, right? Dragoon just got their utility nerfed across the board. They don't have Disembowel. Litany's gone. Well, sorry, it's not gone. Litany's nerfed. We don't know anything about I, but I believe I is just the same, so that's fine. So I don't know. Dragoon definitely got some potency buffs here and there, but Dragoon has its own issues. But it did get. We don't know. We don't know if it's really going to be doing enough damage to make up for that. At least initially, to me, it didn't seem right. But the fact that Trick is still the same is very interesting to me. But let's continue.
Yes, it's otherwise the same. Sweet Tone I mentioned earlier, so we're talking about Trick Attack.
So Suiton is different. It's now 20 seconds long, which is interesting. With a lot of things, you could definitely apply that in definitely a lot of ways. My thoughts about this is that it probably has something to do with TCJ. Because TCJ now is 100 seconds, right? It doesn't cost any gauge at all. You could just use it freely as it just comes up. And obviously, if TCJ is 100 seconds, Trick is, on a 60-second multiple, meaning Trick should be available about 20 seconds after that TCJ. This does make sense, but we have a lot of questions because this also Suiton is not just for Trick anymore. It's also used for Meisui, and what Meisui is, I think Cappy comes up into in the video. But Meisui is it gives you more gauge at the cost of eating your Suiton. It gives you 40 gauge, I believe. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. I'll kind of have to culminate my thoughts to see what I end up doing with this.
The only thing that changed here is that the effect now lasts 20 seconds.
Let's move a little ahead a little bit.
But it also has two
Shikuchi has charges now. That's great. Kasatsu also has charges. It's not a crit buff anymore. It enhances your ninjutsu to do certain things. The two ninjutsu, which Happy will be getting to here in a minute, is the Hyoton and the Katon version. He doesn't mention any other jutsu, so I believe all we get is a single target jutsu, which somehow kind of made the Whis for Hyoton a little better, and it's 550 potency, which is great. And then we get a new Katon, which I believe is 400 potency, which is essentially your new Hellfrog, I guess. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, crit Katon, I don't know. It's still pretty close, I guess. It's not a total nerf, but yeah. But Hellfrog definitely got nerfed. It's 400 potency up front, but then the fall off immediately hits, and it's 50%. So basically, it's 200 potency for everybody else, which is a huge nerf, in my opinion, to Ninja's AoE potential, because Ninja's AoE is really strong right now. But right now, it's looking a little different. Oh yeah, Bava got nerfed. It's now 500 potency. I'm not really sure. I guess it's a lot more spammable now because it's on a 1 second cooldown and no longer has that 50-second cooldown thing going on for it. So essentially it didn't really get nerfed. It's just the potency. So you're going to be using Bava a lot more now. But don't just necessarily spam it, right? It's like your Shin 10, but at the same time, you want to plan it around burst phases. You want to make sure that there are other things you could use it for. Let's say you have Bunshin available for a trick. You don't want to use your Bava and not have enough. You don't want to have enough Ninki to be able to go into Bunshin to be able to use in your trick. So you got to watch out for that. Let's continue. Scooch down a little bit here. So Tenchi Jin, like I said earlier, it's just a cooldown. But I guess the great thing here about TCJ is you'll be using TCJ a lot more for just probably tricks. So you don't have to worry about things like using Suiton mid-rotation. You're probably still going to have to do that, so don't get too excited. But it's lesser now. You definitely can use TCJ specifically for trick setup, which is great. I actually really like that, because you don't have to worry too much about ping, right? You're in TCJ, you're getting damage, and you don't have to worry about clipping at all, because that's just how the skill works. So that to me is a great change. You don't have to worry about gauge at all with it. It's just there for you, especially with the sweets on changes.
It's exactly the same. So if you didn't like the way it made you spin skills and combos instead of off of your auto attack.
Right, so this is crazy. So I don't think I said this in my other video earlier, but basically Ninki is now generated from weapon skills, and I believe it's 8 Ninki now instead of 6 from, and autos are gone. Or I mean, autos are still in the game, but it doesn't generate off of autos, which is excellent. I hated the fact that Ninki generated off of autos, because autos have a tendency to be a little bit inconsistent, especially when it comes to the downtime of bosses. So let's pick UCOB, for example. In UCOB, you get a lot of hatches, and the problem with autos is you could come back from your hatch losing autos anyway, but you can also come back and just still not get an auto. It's as if you just missed a tick, right, for your autos to go off. So you're waiting to your next GCE to get more Ninki, which is very annoying to have to deal with, because it just completely derails your whole rotation. So I'm glad that it's gone. It's such a blessing, honestly. That was one of the biggest gripes I had with Ninja, was autos and Ninki interactions. Okay, so this is our new AoE ability. It's basically a combo off of Death Blossom, which is great, because what this does is it extends your Huton, which is desperately needed. This could also be used in very interesting way. Well, no. It couldn't be used like that, because Armor Crush is a two-part combo now. So you would never need to use this to extend your gauge. Dragoon, I was thinking of Dragoon, right? Because Dragoon has an interaction with Blood of the Dragon with their AoE right now, to where you could use, I believe it's called Sonic Thrust, to extend your Blood of the Dragon if you don't have enough time. It's just faster to do it. But no, you wouldn't do this for Ninja at all. But what this is, it extends your Huton. It also gives you gauge, which is very welcome, because, I mean, a lot of melees actually got this to where they got AoE combos or AoE interactions that help with their gauges to extend them. So I'm very, very excited about that. It's not too high of a potency, but hey, whatever, who really cares? It extends your gauge, and that's really all that matters. So this is Meisui, and it does dispel your Suiton. It's also on a 60-second cooldown, so that's interesting. Huh. So that's very interesting. When you think about the rotation interaction going on there, you're going to be using this before trick, if not every trick. So if I had to think of something that I would be doing as a fresh ninja with the knowledge I've had about it for so long and what I figure out now, you would probably do something like, so TCJ comes up before trick about 20 seconds, let's say. So you might use TCJ to Suiton, and then you might use Meisui. This is very interesting, actually, and I'm not really sure how this will work, because then you wouldn't have any ninjutsu anymore if that was the case, right? So perhaps what you would do, right, is you would Suiton before your TCJ, if I could think of something, right, and then you would TCJ to get another Suiton up. So yeah, you use the first Suiton for Meisui, and then you get another TCJ that you use much earlier before your trick, like let's say 15, 16 seconds before, because you'll probably have all that done before, and you'll be using that for trick. That's my only thought. It just seems very early to be using Meisui 20 seconds before your trick even comes up. So I'm not really quite sure how this is going to work. It's something you would have to map out as you feel and get a feel from play for the job. Because there's a lot of Suitons going on here, and I don't really know if this is too much of a gain over something like what is it? Your enhanced ninjutsu. Actually, let's go back. I have to look if Kasatsu actually resets your mudras, because Kasatsu has a 60-second cooldown now. See if I can find it. It's somewhere around here. That's Suiton. Wow, we talk about Suitons really. Yeah, here we go. Kasatsu resets the ninjutsu cast timer. Okay, so it still does that. Also has 2 charges, by the way. I think I said that. But so it does reset your cast timer, and it's available every 60 seconds. So that does make sense. So I guess what you could be doing now, right? So you would use yeah, no. So you would definitely be using Suiton first for your Meisui. And then what you could do is TCJ to prep trick. And then what you could do is Kasatsu, just to have your jutsus reset. And then you put up trick after a while when it's ready to go. You use your ninjutsu, your enhanced ninjutsu inside of your trick, because obviously you really want to do that. That's very optimal. And 60 seconds, right? Now, I'm not really sure how the charges will work. You're probably going to be burning those instantly anyway, but you'll probably, at this point in time, only have 1 charge ready for you. I believe that's how the charges work. So you'd only have to worry about using 1 mudra in your trick every trick, which is not too bad at all. So there's a lot of ninjutsu interaction going on here. There's a lot of prepping going on too. So ninja's definitely going to probably be a lot harder than the other melee in terms of min-maxing and optimization and stuff, because there's a lot of prep going on here that you have to think about. Anyway, let's continue to move on. So that's Meisui. So this is your Katon, your enhanced Katon used from Kasatsu. So, yep, that's fine. Yeah, we already talked about that. 400 potency, that's really good, regardless. This is really strong, 550 potency. I'm assuming it's magic damage because it is Hyoton, so it shouldn't be an issue concerning dripping blades at all. So that's good damage. This is Bunshin. So Bunshin, and the reason why it said it's a little it's not. It's definitely better than Duality. Like let's not get this twisted. Duality is great and all, but Bunshin is crazy because what ends up happening, obviously it doubles the weapon skills that you use, but what it is 45% of your weapon skills base damage. I don't know if it's affected by buffs at all, the clone. It probably is, because I don't think the clone is real. I think it's just you, and then it leaves a shadow behind, which is just a cool little animation it does. But I don't think that I think it is affected by damage buffs, so that is fine. But it is 45% of whatever weapon skill you use. That was kind of the biggest gripe I had. I guess the coolest thing about Bunshin here is Bunshin. The coolest thing about Bunshin here is it does double dot. So you could use Shadow Fang, and the clone itself will apply a Shadow Fang, which is huge because there's a lot of interactions you could think of off of that. So right, so it's a 45% gain. But either way, no matter what way you look at it, right? I believe still Shadow Fang is going to be more potency than your Aeolian. Let me see if I can find it around here. Is that Shadow Fang? Yeah, so Shadow Fang, it's 260 combo potency, damage over time 50. You tick every 3 seconds, so that's 6 ticks. So 50 times 6 is 300, I believe. Yep, 300. So that's a 560 potency skill. So it's still more potency than Alien Edge, no matter how you look at it. So that has to mean that using this under Shadow Fang is huge. So not only that, but you could multi-dot with this, which is also huge. So imagine putting 4 Shadow Fangs up in a matter of 4 GCDs. That's crazy. Obviously, it's a nerf Shadow Fang, but it's still a lot of potency. So it would be a gain to use this under Shadow Fang, if I'm not mistaken, and if that's how your GCDs end up working out, which it probably will. What I would imagine you would do is kind of like how it was in Heaven's Ward. You put up your dot in Trick, and then you get your Aeolian off, right? So Yeah, no, this is definitely looking good. This is definitely a really powerful skill that's going to be really good for min-maxing. So I'm looking forward to the optimization of the skill.
Now, while 10 Shijin might no longer one that will copy
But
your
it and it does consume 80 gauge, so beware. It's 15 seconds, so it does last longer than Trick. So you should be able to get a Shadow Fang off in this, in my opinion. I believe it should work. It should work. There's no reason not to.
weapon skill.
Oh, it also does double armor crush. I believe Happy says that in the video, so do not fret, I guess, if you want 60 seconds of Huton. Hey, I could see some use for that somewhere. Maybe you really screwed up, but hey.
And a little animation of skill can act as attack on the opponent, at least as well.
Let's play some video of it,
At least
because it's really cool. Like, it leaves a little after image even if you
Now,
move.
the biggest thing I noticed is that effects
That's
are
cool.
applied twice
So yeah, that's Happy talking about the double effects. So let's move on.
extra AoE.
But that's going to be big damage because it does line up with Trick, and it's up pretty frequently. So I see no reason why you wouldn't want to do that.
Entirely different that I cannot wait to see what the Theory Crafters do with it.
Yeah, he's talking about basically.
In the Shikuchi one, I mentioned the Ninki one.
Yeah, so I think that was pretty much it for Ninja in terms of new skills. Ninja definitely seems to be the most optimized kind of melee there is. It definitely looks like the most involved melee. I really like that. Ninja's probably going to be a really weavy class, though. So if it does, it could be really bad if you have high ping. It might not be, so let me not jump the gun, because obviously we're not playing these jobs yet, so we can't say much about it. But, hey, you know, Ninja looks way more involved than the other melees, and I'll get to that in the other videos, but I'm glad that Ninja is the way it is. So anyway, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you like this kind of style of content. Dislike it if you just hate my voice or my face. You can't even see my face, so who cares. And subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you for watching.